for some reason, I don't know why this is, but for some reason, Waffle Houses in the South, because I've been to a couple of them. I like waffles for one thing, and I like these waffles. They're associated with Christianity. And this one is like that. It's one of the really most fun restaurants in Nashville. And some clown walked in there and shot some people. And obviously the usual stuff is happening where people are, calling for gun control. What's really interesting, we should just hear just for a minute from the guy, James Shaw, young man who wrestled the gun away from the guy. And he said he's not a hero. He was just trying not to get killed. But it sounded pretty brave to me. Let's just hear from him. He took the gun away from the shooter.
I actually went behind this like a push door, swivel door. And he shot through that door, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure he grazed my arm. And it was at that time that I kind of made up my mind, because there's no way to lock that door, that if it was going to come down to it, he was going to have to work to kill me. So at the time that he was either reloading or the gun jammed or whatever happened is when I ran through the swivel door. I hit him with the swivel door, and then the gun was kind of jammed up and it was pushed down, so we were scuffling. And I managed to get him with one hand on the gun, and then I grabbed it from him, and I threw it over the countertop. And then after that, I was trying to get out the door, and I think he was pretty much in the entranceway, so I just took him out with me, out of the entrance and all the way outside.
I just love, we know there are bad guys, but it's always good to remember there are good guys. Just the fact that he took the gun away from him and threw it away, he didn't blow him, he didn't shoot him with it. He burned his hand grabbing the hot barrel of the gun. One bullet went off. It seems to have grazed his arm. Very courageous stuff. The mayor of Nashville is calling for confiscations of guns and just kind of babbling about gun control and all this stuff. But newly discovered statistics from the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, I'm taking this right off our site, the Daily Wire, Centers for Disease Control, that were never released to the public, strengthen the argument for guns and blow a hole in the gun control narrative. The statistics show that guns are used in a defensive manner against crimes far more than they are used by criminals to commit crimes. A new report from Florida State University criminologist Gary Kleck shows that recently unearthed surveys from the CDC, which were never made public, show that Americans use guns in millions of defense scenarios every year on average. Kleck's study, which has been harshly disputed in pro-gun control quarters, indicated that there were more than 2.2 million such defensive uses of guns, so-called DGUs, defensive gun use, in America. But now Kleck says that the CDC backed him up, but they never reported what they found. I wonder why not, And people were saying on Twitter, everybody's on Twitter, so you get a couple of people with maybe the IQ of a mushroom, but they said, well, that just proves this guy grabbed the gun with his bare hand, so that proves you don't need a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun. You think, like, did those words come out of your mouth? I mean, what's wrong with you? It's like, yeah, all we need is guys willing to grab the hot barrel of a gun and take a bullet to the arm, and we'll be fine. It's just nuts. But the CDC apparently really did a good study, a very solid study in the 90s, showing that people use guns for self-defense. Of course, what do you think they use them for?